Kansas City, Missouri. Kemper Arena. April 17, 1985. Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. The atmosphere inside the arena is electric with disbelief. 400 people packed into a space normally used for exhibition events. But tonight, there is no exhibition, no scheduled program, no official announcement. Just an impossible rumor that has been circulating for 6 weeks. A rumor that brought together boxing legends, martial arts champions, sports journalists, and curious spectators who needed to see with their own eyes whether this could possibly be real. A challenge that defies every convention of combat sports. A challenge that will either be remembered as the greatest demonstration of skill in martial arts history or dismissed as an elaborate performance that nobody will ever fully understand. Muhammad Ali, 43 years old, no longer the heavyweight champion but still the most recognizable boxer on the planet. The man who survived the Thrilla in Manila. The man who shocked the world by defeating George Foreman in Zaire. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, 230 pounds, heavier than his championship days but still carrying the aura of invincibility that made him a global icon. His reflexes are not what they once were. His speed has diminished. But his confidence, his absolute certainty in his superiority, remains unshaken. And tonight, he has agreed to something that sounds like a publicity stunt but feels like something more dangerous. Tonight, he has agreed to face Cynthia Rothrock. Cynthia Rothrock, 28 years old, 5 feet 3 inches tall, 120 pounds, a 5-time world karate champion who has dominated every tournament she entered. A woman who has shattered every assumption about what female martial artists could achieve. Her forms are flawless. Her kicks generate power that makes heavyweight men respect her. Her speed in competition has been clocked as faster than most male champions in her weight class. But she has never faced a professional boxer. She has never been in a ring with someone who has fought the best heavyweights in history. And tonight, she is not here to compete in a tournament with rules and point systems. She is here because Muhammad Ali made a statement 6 weeks ago that she could not ignore. It started at a sports banquet in New York City. Ali was the guest of honor, entertaining the crowd with stories and jokes as he always does. Someone asked him about the rise of women in martial arts, specifically about Cynthia Rothrock, who had just won her 5th consecutive world championship. Ali smiled, that famous smile, and said something that would change everything. "I respect what she has done in her sport," Ali said, his voice carrying that familiar mix of charm and confidence. But let us be honest. Karate tournaments are not real fighting. They are games with rules and referees. I could end a match with her in 30 seconds. Not because I want to hurt her, but because boxing is real combat and karate is a dance with occasional contact. If she wants to prove me wrong, I will give her the same chance I gave Bruce Lee years ago. Stand still, let her hit me, and we will see if those tournament kicks mean anything against someone who has been hit by the hardest punchers in boxing history. The statement spread instantly. Sports magazines picked it up. Television news segments discussed it. The martial arts community was outraged. The boxing world was amused. And Cynthia Rothrock, teaching a class at her school in California when she heard about it, did something unexpected. She did not respond with anger. She did not dismiss it as the rambling of a retired boxer seeking attention. Instead, she picked up the phone and called Muhammad Ali directly. The conversation lasted 20 minutes. By the end, they had an agreement. If you want to see how this impossible confrontation unfolded, how a 120-pound karate champion faced the most famous boxer in the world, and discover what happened that shocked everyone in that arena, stay with me until the end. This story will challenge everything you think you know about size, strength, and what truly makes someone dangerous in combat. This is a story that has been kept quiet for decades, and you are about to find out why. 5 weeks of preparation followed. This would not be a fight. Both sides agreed on that immediately. This would be a demonstration, a controlled test of technique versus experience, speed versus power, martial arts precision versus boxing's brutal effectiveness. The terms were specific. Cynthia would have 3 attempts. 3 strikes, any technique she wanted, targeting any area above the waist. Ali would stand without defending, just as he had promised. If any of her strikes caused visible effect, caused Ali to step back or show signs of impact, the martial arts community would consider it validation. If all 3 strikes did nothing, if Ali stood unmoved and unaffected, it would be seen as proof that tournament karate could not bridge the gap between sport and real combat. Ali agreed to these terms with complete confidence. He had been hit by Sonny Liston's devastating power. He had absorbed punishment from Joe Frazier that would have ended other careers. He had survived 14 brutal rounds against George Foreman's inhuman strength. The idea that a 120-pound woman, no matter how skilled, could affect him with a single strike seemed laughable. But he respected her courage for accepting. He respected that she was willing to put her reputation on the line. And in a strange way, he was curious. He had seen tournament karate. He had watched demonstrations. But he had never experienced it directed at him with full intent. Cynthia's preparation was different from anything she had done before. Tournament competition had rules, target areas you could not hit, techniques that were forbidden, contact levels that were controlled. This demonstration had none of those restrictions. Ali had given her permission to strike with full power, to target vulnerable areas, to use any technique in her arsenal. For 5 weeks, she trained specifically for this moment. Not practicing forms or tournament techniques, but working with her most senior students on generating maximum power in single strikes. She studied human anatomy, focusing on nerve clusters and structural weak points. She consulted with martial arts masters who had studied pressure point techniques and dim mak, the death touch principles that most Western martial artists dismissed as legend. Her teacher, a man who had trained in both traditional Chinese martial arts and competition karate, told her something that stayed with her. Muhammad Ali is expecting you to try to hurt him with force, he said. He has been hit with more force than you can generate. His body has been conditioned to absorb impact that would hospitalize normal people. If you try to match his toughness with your power, you will fail. But if you can find the places where toughness does not matter, where the body cannot defend itself through conditioning alone, then you have a chance. Not to hurt him, but to show him something he has never experienced. To make him understand that there are dimensions of martial arts that boxing does not prepare you for. Now the day has arrived. The Kemper Arena is not full, but 400 people is more than anyone expected for a private demonstration. Among the crowd are boxing trainers who worked with Ali during his championship years, karate masters who have followed Cynthia's tournament career, sports journalists who sensed this might be a significant story, and regular people who heard rumors and managed to get invitations through various connections. The energy in the arena is unlike anything from a normal sporting event. This is not entertainment. This is a test. A test of assumptions, of beliefs, of everything both communities think they know about fighting. Before we go any further, I need you to do something. If you are finding this story fascinating, if you want to see how this impossible situation resolves, hit that subscribe button right now. We bring you stories that challenge conventional wisdom about martial arts and combat sports. Drop a like if you appreciate deep research into events that most people have never heard about. And share this video with anyone who loves martial arts history, who respects both Muhammad Ali and Cynthia Rothrock, or who wants to understand what really happens when different combat systems meet. Comment below and tell me what you think will happen. Can technique overcome size and experience? Let me know your thoughts. Now let us get back to this incredible confrontation. The ring is set up in the center of the arena floor. A standard boxing ring, 20 feet square, canvas floor, padded turnbuckles. Bright overhead lights illuminate everything. No shadows, no hidden angles. Everything will be visible to everyone present. Muhammad Ali enters first, wearing simple black training shorts and boxing shoes. His upper body is bare, showing the physique that carried him through 61 professional fights. He is heavier now, thicker around the middle than during his prime, but still impressive. Still recognizably the body of an elite athlete. He raises his arms to acknowledge the crowd, and the response is mixed. Some people cheer, excited to see the legend. Others remain silent, uncomfortable with what is about to happen, with the spectacle of a man in his 40s offering himself as a target for a woman half his size. Ali moves around the ring with that familiar shuffle, showing he still has the footwork, still has the rhythm that made him impossible to hit during his prime. He stops in the center, looks toward the entrance, and waits. The arena falls quiet. Then Cynthia Rothrock enters, and the atmosphere changes. She is tiny compared to Ali, almost childlike in proportion. She wears a traditional white karate gi with her black belt tied precisely. Her feet are bare. Her hair is pulled back tightly. Her face shows absolute focus, no smile, no acknowledgement of the crowd, just concentration. She walks directly to the ring, climbs through the ropes, and stands opposite Ali. The height difference is absurd. Ali towers over her by more than a foot. His reach advantage is massive. One of his arms is nearly as thick as both of her legs. He outweighs her by 110 pounds. Every physical measurement suggests this should not be happening, that there is no universe where she could affect him with a strike. Ali looks down at her, and his expression is not mocking, not dismissive. It is curious. Almost respectful. He has fought too many battles to underestimate anyone completely, even someone so much smaller. Miss Rothrock, Ali says, his voice still carrying that distinctive cadence despite the years. I want you to know I respect your courage. You have achieved great things in your sport. But tonight, you are going to learn the difference between tournament karate and real fighting. I am going to stand here, and you are going to hit me with your best techniques. And then everyone will understand that size and power matter. That all the black belts in the world do not change basic physics. Cynthia nods once but does not respond verbally. She does not need to. Her body language says everything. She is not here to argue. She is here to demonstrate. The referee, a neutral martial arts master respected by both communities, steps between them. He explains the rules one final time. 3 strikes. Cynthia chooses the techniques and targets. Ali will not defend or move. After each strike, there will be a brief pause to assess effect. Medical personnel are standing by in case of injury to either participant. Both parties have signed waivers acknowledging the risks. Are both parties ready? The referee asks. Ali nods, spreading his arms wide, dropping into a relaxed stance. His entire upper body is exposed, open, vulnerable. Cynthia assumes her fighting stance, a traditional karate position, weight balanced, hands up but relaxed, breathing controlled. The arena is completely silent. 400 people holding their breath. Nobody knows what is about to happen. Nobody can predict whether the next few minutes will validate decades of martial arts training or confirm the boxing world's belief that size and power trump technique. Cynthia does not rush. She takes her time, studying Ali from her stance. Her eyes move systematically, assessing angles, measuring distances, calculating trajectories. This is not tournament fighting where you score points by touching first. This is about effect, about finding the exact right technique delivered to the exact right target with the exact right timing. 30 seconds pass. Some people in the crowd shift uncomfortably. Is she hesitating? Is she afraid? Ali stands motionless, patient, his arms still spread wide, his expression neutral. Then Cynthia moves, and what happens is not what anyone expects. She does not chamber a big kick. She does not wind up a powerful punch. Instead, she takes 3 quick steps forward, closing the distance between them, and her right hand moves in a tight spiral, fingers extended, not a fist but an open hand. Her fingertips strike a point on Ali's left side, between the 8th and 9th ribs, where the liver sits protected only by muscle and fascia. The strike is not violent in appearance. It looks almost gentle, a tap rather than a hit. But the placement is surgically precise, and the force, though not massive, is concentrated into an area smaller than a quarter. Muhammad Ali's reaction is instantaneous and involuntary. His body folds slightly to the left. His right hand comes down reflexively, covering the spot where she struck. His face shows something he has not shown in a boxing ring in decades. Surprise. Not pain exactly, but shock. The sensation is unlike anything from a boxing punch. Boxing punches distribute force across the padded glove, across the ribcage, across large muscle groups that can absorb and dissipate impact. This was different. This was pressure concentrated on a specific organ, on nerve endings that control nausea and balance, on an area that no amount of conditioning can fully protect. The referee steps forward immediately. Champion Ali, how do you feel? Do you need a moment? Ali straightens slowly, his hands still on his side. His breathing is controlled, but his expression has changed. The confidence is still there, but now mixed with respect, with recognition that something unexpected just happened. I am fine, Ali says, his voice steady but quieter than before. That was interesting. Very interesting. He looks at Cynthia with new eyes. You have one more technique like that, little sister? Cynthia does not smile, does not celebrate. She simply returns to her stance, resets her breathing, and waits for the referee to signal that the second attempt can begin. The crowd is buzzing now, voices overlapping, people debating what they just saw. Did Ali flinch? Was it a real reaction or courtesy? Did that tiny strike actually affect the man who survived the thriller in Manila? The referee checks with both participants, ensures Ali wants to continue, then steps back. This time, Ali adjusts his position slightly. He is no longer completely relaxed. His core is tensed, his abdominal muscles flexed, his body preparing for impact even though he promised not to defend. This is instinct, the result of 61 professional fights teaching his body to protect itself. Cynthia sees this, recognizes the change, and modifies her approach. If his body is now guarding the core, she will target somewhere else. Somewhere that tensing muscles cannot protect. Cynthia shifts her weight, and in a movement so fast that half the audience misses it, her right leg snaps up in a front kick. But this is not a tournament kick aimed at scoring points by touching the chest or head. This kick targets the inside of Ali's left thigh, 6 inches above the knee, where the femoral nerve runs close to the surface between muscle groups. Her instep makes contact with precise placement, and again, the force is not about power but about specificity. She is not trying to push him back or knock him down. She is targeting a neurological response. Ali's left leg buckles slightly. Not enough to drop him, not enough to make him fall, but enough that he has to shift his weight to his right leg to maintain balance. His face shows confusion more than pain. He has been kicked before in sparring, has taken low blows in fights, has experienced every type of impact that boxing involves. But this sensation is different. His leg feels weak, disconnected, as if the signals from his brain are not reaching his muscles correctly. He shakes his leg, trying to restore normal function, and after several seconds, the feeling begins to return. "What are you doing?" Ali asks, and there is no arrogance in the question now, only genuine curiosity. "Those are not power strikes. I have been hit harder in training. But something is happening that I do not understand. Explain it to me." Cynthia speaks for the first time since entering the ring. Her voice is calm, respectful, but absolutely confident. "Champion Ali, in karate we study Kyusho Jitsu, the art of pressure points. We learn that the human body has vulnerable places where strikes do not need power to create effect. Nerve clusters, organ positions, structural weak points. You have conditioned your body to absorb impact, to distribute force, to endure punishment that would destroy normal people. But no amount of conditioning can eliminate these vulnerabilities. They exist in every body, regardless of size or strength. What I am showing you is not about being stronger than you. It is about knowing where strength does not matter." Ali processes this information. His expression shows the mental adjustment happening in real time. Everything he knows about fighting, everything boxing taught him, is being challenged. In boxing, you win by being tougher, faster, stronger. You take punishment and give more punishment back. The fighter who can endure more wins. But this is something else entirely. This is surgical precision targeting things that toughness cannot protect. "You have one more strike," Ali says. "Show me your best technique. Show me what you have been training your whole life to perfect." The arena is completely silent again. Everyone knows this third strike will determine how this demonstration is remembered. The first two strikes affected Ali, anyone watching could see that. But will the third strike be enough to truly shock the boxing world, to prove that martial arts contains knowledge that transcends size and power? We are about to get to the most incredible part of this story, but before we do, I have to tell you something. If you are on the edge of your seat right now, if you cannot believe what you are witnessing, then you understand why you need to be subscribed to this channel. We uncover stories that change how you think about combat sports and martial arts. Hit that like button right now if this story is exceeding your expectations. Share this video with everyone who needs to see that size is not everything, that there are dimensions of fighting most people never consider. And comment below, tell me what you think of Cynthia Rothrock. Is she one of the greatest martial artists of all time? Let me know. Now, let us see what happens with this final strike. Cynthia takes a long, slow breath. This is the moment she has been preparing for. The first two strikes were tests, confirmations that her technique and knowledge could affect even someone as experienced and conditioned as Muhammad Ali. But this third strike needs to be definitive. It needs to be something that Ali will remember for the rest of his life, something that will make him reconsider everything he thought he knew about martial arts. She steps back slightly, increasing the distance between them. Ali watches her, his body tensed now, his curiosity fully engaged. Whatever is coming, he knows it will be different from the first two strikes. Cynthia assumes a different stance, lower, weight on her back leg, front leg light and ready. This is a cat stance from traditional karate, designed for explosive forward movement. Her hands are held differently too, one extended forward, one chambered at her hip. The positioning telegraphs that a kick is coming, but from this distance, with her stance so low, the angle does not make sense. Most people in the audience cannot figure out what technique she is preparing. It looks like she is too far away for any effective strike. Then Cynthia explodes forward. Not running, but gliding, using a traditional karate technique called yori-ashi where the feet barely leave the ground, maintaining balance while covering distance with shocking speed. As she closes the gap, her rear leg chambers, and in a blur of motion too fast for most observers to track, she executes a jumping hook kick. But this is not a wild, powerful kick designed to knock someone down. This is a precise, controlled strike where her heel describes a tight arc and makes contact with the side of Ali's neck, just below and behind his ear, where the vagus nerve and carotid sinus are located. The effect is immediate and dramatic. Muhammad Ali's body goes completely limp. His knees buckle. His arms drop. His eyes lose focus. He collapses to the canvas, not from pain, but from a complete neurological disruption. The strike to the vagus nerve and carotid sinus has triggered a vasovagal response, a reflexive drop in blood pressure and heart rate that the body cannot prevent or control. Ali is conscious, but his body has stopped responding to commands. He is on his back on the canvas, breathing rapidly, his mind aware but his body in a state of protective shutdown. The arena erupts in shocked voices. People standing, pushing forward, trying to see what happened. Medical personnel rush into the ring immediately. The referee drops to his knees beside Ali, checking his pulse, checking his breathing, ensuring there is no serious injury. Cynthia Rothrock stands several feet away, her face showing concern now, not triumph. She did not want to hurt him. She wanted to demonstrate. But seeing the legendary Muhammad Ali on his back, unable to move, is more shocking than she expected. "Champion, can you hear me?" the referee asks. Ali nods weakly. His eyes are open, tracking movement, but his body is not cooperating. This is not pain. This is something else entirely. His nervous system has been overwhelmed by a precise strike to an area that controls fundamental involuntary responses. The medical personnel assess him quickly, checking for injury, checking that his breathing and heart rate are stable. After 20 seconds that feel like an eternity, Ali begins to regain control. Feeling returns to his limbs. His hands start to respond. He tries to sit up, and the medical team helps him. "What happened?" Ali asks, his voice weak and confused. "I felt the impact, and then everything just stopped working. I did not black out, but my body would not listen to me." "What did you do?" Cynthia kneels beside him, her expression serious but respectful. "I struck the vagus nerve and carotid sinus simultaneously. It causes a reflexive response that the body cannot control. Your heart rate dropped suddenly. Your blood pressure changed. Your body went into a protective state. You are not injured. In a few minutes you will feel completely normal. But this is what I mean about pressure points. There are places on the human body that cannot be strengthened through conditioning, places where a precise strike creates effects that have nothing to do with how tough you are." Ali sits on the canvas, breathing deeply, processing what just happened to him. For 40 years, since he was a teenager, fighting has meant one thing to him. Physical contest, strength against strength, will against will, endurance and power determining the outcome. In less than a minute, Cynthia Rothrock showed him that there are dimensions of combat he never encountered in boxing, never experienced in 61 professional fights, never understood despite being the greatest heavyweight champion of his generation. The referee helps Ali to his feet. He stands unsteadily for a moment, then his balance returns. His strength comes back. Within 2 minutes, he appears completely normal, showing no signs of injury or lasting effect. But his demeanor has changed fundamentally. The playful arrogance is gone. The certainty is gone. In its place is humility and respect. He looks at Cynthia, and she looks back at him, and something passes between them that the crowd cannot fully understand. "You are a master," Ali says quietly. "I came here thinking I would prove that boxing is superior to karate, that size and power matter more than technique. You have shown me I was wrong. Not completely wrong, size and power matter in many situations. But there are dimensions of fighting I never learned, techniques that can overcome physical advantages, knowledge that boxing does not teach. I respect you. I respect what you have accomplished. And I will tell everyone that Cynthia Rothrock is the real thing, that her skills are legitimate, that martial arts contains truths that go beyond what most people understand." Cynthia bows deeply, the traditional sign of respect in martial arts. "Champion Ali, you gave me the opportunity to demonstrate my art against someone who represents the highest level of combat sports. That took courage and open-mindedness. Many boxers would never accept this challenge because they are afraid of what they might learn. You were willing to be vulnerable, to stand defenseless, to let me show you something new. That is the mark of a true martial artist, someone who values learning over ego. Thank you for this opportunity. What you felt today, those pressure point techniques, they are part of traditional martial arts that most people never see. Tournaments do not allow them. Sparring does not include them. But they are real and they work, and they deserve respect." Ali extends his hand, and Cynthia shakes it. The image is powerful, the most famous boxer in the world and a 120-pound female karate champion, showing mutual respect after a demonstration that defied conventional wisdom. The crowd does not know how to react. Some people applaud. Others argue among themselves about what they witnessed. Was it real? Did Ali allow it to happen? Could those techniques work in a real fight? The questions will continue for years, but everyone in that arena knows they witnessed something significant. The aftermath of this demonstration would ripple through both the boxing and martial arts communities for decades. Sports journalists who were present wrote articles that were met with skepticism. Many people refused to believe that Cynthia Rothrock could affect Muhammad Ali with strikes that did not appear powerful. The boxing establishment largely dismissed the story, claiming it was a publicity stunt, that Ali was past his prime and playing along for entertainment. But those who understood pressure point techniques, who had studied Kyusho Jitsu and Dim Mak, recognized what had happened. They knew that Cynthia had demonstrated legitimate applications of advanced martial arts knowledge. Muhammad Ali, for his part, never denied what happened. In private conversations with friends and former opponents, he would describe the experience with a mixture of confusion and respect. "I have been hit by everyone," he would say. "Foreman, Frazier, Liston, all the hardest punchers. Nothing felt like what that little woman did to me. She did not hurt me with power. She hit switches in my body I did not know existed. Made my body stop working without damaging anything. That is something beyond boxing, something I never understood before. If I had known about those techniques during my career, if I had studied pressure points and nerve strikes, maybe I would have been even more dangerous. Or maybe I would have gotten knocked out by someone who knew them." It makes you think about what we do not know, about what other martial arts around the world have discovered. Cynthia Rothrock's career would benefit enormously from this demonstration. She had always been respected in the tournament karate world, but this encounter with Muhammad Ali brought her recognition far beyond martial arts circles. Hollywood became interested in her abilities, leading to her successful career in martial arts films. She became an advocate for women in combat sports, proving that technique and knowledge could overcome physical disadvantages. Her schools grew, her seminars became highly sought after, and she became a role model for a generation of female martial artists who saw that gender and size did not have to be limiting factors. The demonstration also sparked broader conversations about the relationship between sport combat and traditional martial arts. For decades, martial artists had claimed their techniques were too dangerous for sport competition, that tournaments and boxing matches did not represent real fighting because they excluded the most effective techniques. Critics dismissed these claims as excuses, arguing that if techniques could not be proven in competition, they were probably ineffective. The encounter between Cynthia and Ali suggested something more nuanced, that both perspectives contained truth, that sport combat developed important attributes like timing and conditioning and mental toughness, but that traditional martial arts contained knowledge about human vulnerability that sport training did not address. Modern mixed martial arts would eventually incorporate some of these lessons. Early MMA fighters quickly discovered that certain strikes to certain areas created disproportionate effects, that leg kicks to the common peroneal nerve could disable an opponent's mobility, that body shots to the liver could end fights instantly, that strikes to the neck and head affected balance and consciousness in ways that had nothing to do with raw power. These principles that Cynthia demonstrated against Ali would become fundamental to MMA strategy, validating what traditional martial artists had been teaching for centuries. If this story has blown your mind, if you learned something you never knew about martial arts and combat sports, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, subscribe to this channel. We bring you stories that challenge assumptions and reveal hidden truths about fighting. Second, hit that like button and leave a comment telling me what you think. Do you believe this demonstration really happened? Should more fighters study pressure points and nerve strikes? I want to hear your perspective. Third, and most important, share this video. Share it with martial artists who need to understand that their traditional training has value. Share it with boxers and MMA fighters who might dismiss techniques they have not studied. Share it with anyone who loves combat sports and wants to understand the full picture of what fighting can be. This is a story that deserves to be told, and by sharing it, you help preserve an important moment in martial arts history. Thank you for watching. Until next time, keep training, keep learning, and never stop questioning what you think you know about fighting.